Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I was sitting there listening to this song because I started my music right when I started this stream, and I was like, "Oh, this song's good." You guys can't hear my music. I play music in the background because it's like deafeningly quiet for me, and I need to hear something. I'm gonna try a different test this time. I'm gonna put my Discord thing over here and see if it comes through. It does not work. Um, it's good to know. Oh, it didn't come through at all. Let's try this again. Sometimes this happens. So what is this that who am I? What am I doing? I'm making an open source strategy game that is 2D4X. We'll do this again, and we'll go back over here. There it is. It didn't work, though. It's supposed to when you put the exclamation point here. I'm pointing on my screen right there. Discord, it's supposed to give you my Discord server. It doesn't work. Great. We're not going to work on that though. I'm not working on that in the middle of a stream. I'll fix it some other time. I just got to remember that it's broken. Maybe it works on Twitch. Now I got to test it on Twitch because that's one thing's broken and let's see. Yeah, it works on Twitch. I thought it was smart enough to work on YouTube as well, but whatever. That's not what we're doing here. We're going to fix this storage, which I think is going to be a giant pain in the ass. So part of this game, this is our test area. It takes place in North America, but the test area is Oregon. What we're going to do here, you have storage. You have a certain amount of storage, and it's divided by the different resources that you have. But the problem is that we don't have all the resources in the game, and I added a resource called canned food, and then I also got rid of. I had these two lists because it was the easiest thing to do at the time, was to have two lists, one for perishable, one for non-perishable. But it later down the road, it's been screwing me, and I've hated it since I made those two lists. So I made them one list, and in making them one list, I broke how this thing calculates the math, so we're going to have to fix that. And I think it's going to be a mess, even though I was thinking about this ahead of time. Once it counts this number, like how many are perishable and how are non-perishable, it doesn't need to do anything. Like the game never changes. That amount never changes. So we can just store that somewhere. And I was thinking we'll just stick it in global since everything else is... Oh, there was a bug with the clock earlier that I fixed like right before I started. That's why this is over here. And also there's an update. Well, it's gone. But when I close this, there's going to be an update. So we need like some sort of spot in here that's kind of like a constant, but not, because we're setting it in the generation of the game. Like when you first run the game, it's going to count this crap. And we could just manually put it in there, like 2 and 3. But the problem is that I want this so that when I add a new resource, I don't have to go in and start changing stuff like I'm doing right now and then hope the code doesn't break. I want it to work. Here we go. Game settings. No, that's not very. Faction variables. No. Let's do this right at the top. Let's do export group. We'll have to rearrange this at some point. I haven't done any programming all week, so my brain's not going to be ready. Game variables, I guess. Sure. And we're just going to have this here so we can look at it. Public number. What the fuck? Public int. Like I said, I haven't done any programming all week. I got to get in the programming brain. This is going to be number of perishable resources. And then we'll do another one. And it's going to be a public int number of non-perishable resources. All right. And then I guess I could make this not an export. In fact, maybe we shouldn't. It'd be nice to make sure that it's counting it correctly, I guess. Then we're gonna go back to wherever this stuff does this the first time. I don't remember. So there is like there's a whole pile. I think it's actually this thing. Yeah, so there's generate storage. So this is why this is a mess, is I don't have very good comments in here. Like, what is all this different shit? And look how complicated it is. Close, we hide this. Huh. So I need to comment this better as well. But somewhere we need to generate that number. So let's look for a good spot. We could actually do it right here. Yeah, we could do it right here. Yeah, let's do it right. What is this? What is this crap? I try to make this stuff less crap filled. So on ready, we'll say, we'll call something count resources. Nope. Count resources. And then we'll add this in. It's going to put fucking system back up there. And look at it, added this thing in there. And then we can get rid of this thing. And we get rid of system. Okay, count resources. And then we're going to go for each. That is just an array, so it shouldn't be actually that hard. For each resource data in all resources, then we're going to go if, hey Lord Mac, how's it going? If the resource data dot perishable equals true, and we're going to do this. How's your morning, evening, day going? If I wonder why it does this sometimes now. I still haven't figured out what this little line means. Occasionally it appears. It's just started on like a new update of Visual Studio. We need to have a couple of numbers here. Right here. Int perishable equals 0 and int non-perishable equals 0, not 9. You know, the weather here has been pretty good too. I am actually a big fan of like destruction and bad weather. Like the, you know, where it rains like a little bit. But I used to tell people that all the time, but they would always look at me strange. So I just go, oh yeah, it's sunny, I love it. They'd be like, it's a nice day, and I'm, nah, I don't like it. They would be like, what's wrong with you? So I just gave up. Perishable ++. Else non-perishable ++. All right, so we're just going to go through all these and count them, and then when it's done, we're just going to stick them to those numbers that we did. Number of perishable equals perishable and globals. Is it supposed to be crappy weather generally at this time period for you? All right, then let's just run this, and we have that as an export. We can look at it and see if it, you know, one should be 2 and one should be 3. And it should happen immediately. So we can go to our remote. We got to go over here. And we got to go to here. All right, so this counted it right. So now we have this number, 2 and 3. Typhoon path, man. So I drove across country one time in my life, and a typhoon, and this is what made me think of this. And suddenly I can't remember what these things are called. What's the thing? Oh my God, this is the problem with my memory. Certain words just suddenly disappear out of my brain, and I can envision them in my head. Tornado. There we go. Typhoon, tornado. They're not even similar. I mean, there's wind in both of them. I drove across the country, and we were in Kansas or someplace, and there was all of these tornadoes. Just like everywhere you look, there was tornadoes, and I was like, are these tornadoes or tornadoes that I should worry about? Because as I'm driving along the road, and or are they like little tornadoes that you just don't worry about? And I was like, I don't even know what you're supposed to do, with in a tornado. Like if you're driving a car, what do you do? Like park under? I saw Twister. You park under a bridge. I don't know. You go up to some random house and be like, "Can I go in your basement?" And then my theory was, and I had my girlfriend at the time with me. Our theory was that if the truckers that were driving start to like run for it, like pull off the road and hide, then that's when we should really worry. And they never did get to that point, so I guess it was fine. But yeah, I don't know anything about that meteorology of that area either. So we have this thing. But then I asked people, like we asked people around, like the locals, and they said if it's that situation, you are supposed to go to like a business or a house and just be like, "Let me in your basement." And they'll do it. They'll be like, "Yes, come in," supposedly, you know. But they were like, "No, those weren't actually ones you should worry about. They weren't real." They look to me, having no experience with tornadoes, I was like, "That thing looks huge, and there's like 10 of them," but they wasn't real. So, well, that too, and also, they would have experience, I would hope. I'm friends with I've actually been friends with a couple of different people who've been truckers, and all of them say it's miserable work too. It's not. Didn't we get rid of this thing? No, this is the one we kept. It was the other one. I don't think we'll be dealing with that. I like to just keep only 2 lines here. Yeah, all of them say it's very miserable work. One of them was a long haul trucker, then became a short haul trucker, and he said that was much better. Like the long haul shit is the worst. They don't have air conditioning in their trucks, and they're driving through fucking the South where it's all muggy and mosquitoes and shit. Long haul, yeah. Did he like it? Because they said it was miserable. This one couple it was a couple who was in the truck. They said it was miserable, but they actually liked doing it, if that makes sense. Like it's bad, but they like seeing the world, I guess not the world, the United States. All right, so we got this number now, and it's set here. So when we go back to this thing, we're going to have different stuff. So I was counting that like every time you open this, but it dawned on me that we don't need to count that every time we open this. So this is the part that's going to be a mess because it's not very well commented, and I'm going to comment right now. Assign resources to storage HBox. So let's start with this. So on visibility change, it's going to go to this thing, wherever the fuck it is. I guess I could have control-clicked to it. Where is it? I must have passed it. Let's go up here. Let's make this at the top just for now. Oh, it was above. It was above on visibility change. Let's keep it on visibility change at the top too. You don't know much about like if he liked it or not. Yeah. The one guy, my one friend, this was like when I was like 20 or something. He got the long haul job and he was pretty stoked because he needed a job and it paid, somewhat well. It seemed like it, but then they nickel and dime like the long haul guys. and make you like, drive 20 hours straight. Otherwise, you're fucked. And then when he got the short haul thing, that wasn't like that. So okay, this assigns the county's resource to the storage H box when it becomes visible. So the reason why we need to assign this counties to that is because each county will have a different number of things, and so that's what this is doing. So that makes sense. And then update max amount labels. This we should move to here just for now. Okay, so current perishable, what does this thing do? It counts. This is hard to read. Let's talk about readability. So this is a text. A train conductor seemed like it would be kind of fun. I was surprised when I took a train, the first time I took a train from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. You could just walk on the train. Like, I thought there'd be some security. And then, like later they might check your tickets. Um, all the security theater for airplanes. So this is count storage amounts. We might not have to do this anymore. So let's look at this count. Let's bring it up here. I guess I could control whatever. Count storage amounts. I don't think we need to do this because we're doing it in that other spot. Let's move this up so I don't have to look around for it. KD. Oh, freight guys. I've also been, no, I guess not friends. I've also known a couple of people who rode, illegally. There's a name for that, where you jump freight trains. And they all said it was sketchy as fuck. That there's freight train gangs. I don't know. Some of it sounded pretty unrealistic, but so what is this thing doing? See, this is part of the problem. Update max amount labels. And then I don't have any, what is this actually counting? It's going through each resource in resources, which is what? That's a dictionary. And it's pulling, look at how gigantic this is. So this is it's going through this. It's getting it's checking if it's perishable for some reason. And then it's going available storage minus, okay, so, I have only one. I only have one sip of coffee left and now it's gone. Count storage amounts. Return available storage. Available. I feel like this is in the wrong order. Current perishable available. So if we go back to here, and we were talking about this last time, and it dawned on me, this isn't used storage. That's why, remember Lord Mac? We were talking about this last time. It says max perishable storage available. It isn't used storage, and that's why it says available storage. This is the available storage that's available. Let's see here. So if we go back to this, yeah, this is a mess. I wonder if I should just go from the start and just go from the beginning here. And all right, so we're assuming that this is correct. For each one of these, it's assigning. Okay, so we have a dictionary of these things somewhere. Where's the dictionary of these things? Okay, it's resource storage HBox dictionary. Okay, so on ready, this is, in this I wrote last time. So let's put a comment in here. Creates the storage HBoxes when the game starts. Oh, and the sibling thing was a problem. Okay, let's fix the sibling. Yeah, you should come on in. Yeah, you should definitely come on in. Uh, I had a lot of friends also who didn't want to switch to Discord from Slack and stuff. And finally, some of them did. Like, it took like a year of... And it sucks because I know that what's going to happen is Discord's going to disappear like Slack did. And what was the thing before Slack? Creates the storage HBox when the game starts. And that's it. That's what... There's no and. That's what this is doing. But we had a problem here with this add sibling and added them backwards. So let's actually fix that first. We can stop this. We're going to need, in here, we can delete these things. These are no longer used, I think. So I was manually creating these last time before, and then last time I stopped doing it. So what we need to do here is delete these things. Now they're getting instantiated, and add sibling adds them in backwards, and there's probably a way you could fix that, but I think it would just be easier if underneath here we put a VBox, and then let's throw, I could have used those actually as test things. UI scenes is what I'm looking for here. What was that thing called? That was a storage HBox. Let's put that in there. Okay, so we need this perishable label to be in here. I said be in here. What's your problem? Oh, because it's a child. It's a child of it. There we go. And then this needs to be up here. And then we need another VBox. We have a VBox inside. We have VBox inside of VBox. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. We're gonna have to label these better though, because this is gonna get confusing as fuck. Okay, and then let's throw one of these in here as a test. All right, so this is gonna be, so this VBox is all resources VBox. This is gonna be perishable. And then this is gonna be non-perishable. And then we're gonna get rid of these things. And then we're gonna get rid of this thing. Exactly. There's so many. I didn't. So I like to think back of like what I've learned. You know, have I learned anything on doing all this? And one of the things is I didn't understand is that all of the UIs is just a bunch of VBoxes and HBoxes in Godot. It's different in Unity. It has its own issue, or I don't know, issues, own ways to do it. And it might be that this is like a way to do, like web design does this, and they try to, you know, make it similar. But we have to change also what the parents here. So like we're adding this parent sibling thing that has to be changed now. This is now a VBox. And come on. And this is a VBox. And then this is going to be called VBox parent. VBox parent. And then this is going to be called VBox parent. And then this isn't going to be add sibling anymore. It's going to be add child. And this is going to be add child. And then hopefully these won't come, they won't come back in reverse order now. Yeah, it's, you know, if I was writing Godot, I would have typed that all out because, because look at how my things are. But yeah, it's, and for some reason, when I look at these little graphic, I don't know why, but it always confuses me. Like that's obviously like rows. I mean, I guess it's rows that are going down, so it's a vertical box. But I don't know what. So a lot of times when I look at this, like look at the lines are vertical on the H box, which isn't what it's doing. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we did this. So we generate these things. I guess we should just run it and make sure that we haven't. Oh, we have actually. We have. We got to put these in the thing. Got to put them here. And here we go. I've been reading all these things about how like ketamine and mushrooms and stuff is being used like a ton for okay, so these are correctly, is this alphabetical? Yep. Are being used for psychological repair, like for PTSD and stuff. It's kind of interesting. My parents, what's that like? I can never remember the name of it. There's some like it's more hardcore than mushrooms. My parents are always half jokingly are like, you should take some of that. Fix your brain. Get some, you know, some sparks going on in there. Okay, so we fixed that little thing. All right, so we're back to this weird update max label nonsense. Count storage amounts. This is so hard to read. Jesus Christ. So we're going through this, the max storage. What are we putting? We're manually putting in this in? No. We're putting in this number. Where are we getting this? This number is going from the select county, so the county has the max storage assigned to it somewhere. And we're getting this because it's the currently clicked county. What is this crap? This is the list from that same county. So why don't we do this to make life a little bit easier? Is this a county data? It is. We'll go county data equals, because this is the same. So it's easier to read. And then we'll go like this. So this isn't just a big line of garbage. I mean, it's going to be less of a line of garbage. Okay, so it's going to count we can just copy this, I think. I think we can just copy these. Sort of. This is non-perishable though. And then what is this thing doing? We don't need this to be here anymore. We just do that. And do this. Yeah, you know, I did some mushrooms years and years and years ago. I've only done mushrooms one time. And I did not have a good experience. My stomach hurt really bad the whole time. And that's basically the main thing that I didn't like. Uh, and then people told me that was normal. I should have eaten something, and I was like, oh, well, nobody wrote that on the side of the mushroom. I also was drinking beer while that was happening, and they said that was another thing that probably was bad, is it didn't mix well. Uh, so okay, we have two different things kind of going on here, and I think that's sort of confusing. Let's break this up. So the current perishable available label does this thing where it's going to count these, and we need to know the perishable storage, which is a number that is assigned to each county. At the beginning, it's 5,000, but if you like build storage, it would change. So this is something that can change around. That's why it's doing this. But so then it goes through each resource data in resources, and then it's like if this is perishable, it takes the max storage. This is such a strange way to do this. Or I'm still um I have some mushrooms. I think it's legal in Oregon. That somebody made into a chocolate bar that I've been sitting in my freezer for 2 years now. That I keep meaning to, just scarf down one day. But having a job and being 50, like I don't want to party as much as I used to. But I think it would be considered a micro dose. Um, and there's like these rules for Twitch about drug use conversations, and I was trying to remember them. Um, if resource data dot perishable equals perishable. Okay, so this is what we're checking here, and then we pass in. What are we doing? Okay, so we're passing in true, and we're passing in false. Okay, so if this equals this, it's going to add to the storage the resource data max amount. This is confusing because these boxes, I think this box is the max amount. Yeah. I also think it's like if you're, I think that because I read a bunch about their labeling system recently because I was curious if I actually like, I noticed like a lot of people were not in, I was watching a few streams and I was like, this person doesn't have like the cussing warning on their thing, and you got to be pretty hardcore to be on those. I think the idea is to stop where people just have just like drug streams or whatever on Twitch or just nudity streams. Um, so I still think this is weird. Max amount label. Got to look at what this is called because this is like this spin box thing, and I think that's what's throwing me off is it has names. We need to look down on this thing, and I bet you I have it open. Okay, so this is the max amount label, which is hidden. Because it's a spin box. Let's put one of these back. Let's turn one of this on. I think that's what's going on. Is now I need to also let's put one of these back in here so I can look at what it looks like here. Turn this on. Max amount. What? Um, Resources is at the top for some reason. Um, oh, that's not gonna. It's not gonna do anything. Um, Let me put this over on the other screen so I can look at. Okay, so it's this thing. Current amount. It's this word right here. Max amount. You know, I did a stream of a mod. What mod was it? It's King of, what is the name of that one? It's the Brandon Sanderson mod. I can't remember the name of it. But I picked a group of people and like started the game and everyone was naked. And I was like, oh shit. And so like in the stream I looked up their thing and it was like for nudity, like where there's nudity in games, as long as the game isn't a nudity game, if that makes sense. So it was like it was fine because that wasn't the goal of the game or whatever. Um, I don't think this max amount thing is what we want. Current amount. I think this is the max amount. This is the max amount. This is. Let me look at this again. See, this is what I get for leaving shit laying around. Can I click this so that this is viewable? No. Hmm. I think that was off. Like yeah, um I made this much harder on myself by not putting better comments and labeling things better. I knew it was going to be an issue and I thought about doing this week. Um yeah, that max amount thing was current amount should be a number and this should be max amount. We got a bug though for some reason. Probably because that thing was in there. Oh. Oh, because I left this open. This needs to be closed. Or it doesn't know what that shit is. I need to delete that thing out of there too. Yeah, so the max amount is the spin box. That's what this thing's called. And then the current amount is whatever. This is broken because it doesn't know what this stuff is. So this is what, okay, so we can get rid of this max amount thing. It was probably going to be a label at the time. And then I was like, someone said like, oh, did you know you could use a spin box? And I was like, nope. So that's what we want there. And let's delete this thing out of here. And then let's do another test here. Just to make sure I haven't exploded something. It's quite possible. I did explode something. What have I exploded? Oh, see, this one has it wants this label for some reason. What happens if we comment this out temporarily? Where is this thing? Resource. Why would it be off though? Like it was hidden is why I'm confused. Maybe it's just some old leftover shit because this is where it's supposed to be. Oh, look at this. When I change this one, they're both changing. This is where it's supposed to be. So like there's 0 fish here, and then we need to, there's 950 storage available for the fish. And this is actually doing the math right. This one's just off. Actually, it should be over here. No, it should be over here. I think that's right. It's weird that I guess I just copy whatever. It's probably some old code. And then we have our spin box here, but let's go back to this counting thing because it's wrong. It's supposed to take. Let's go back up to the top here. There isn't, and we got to figure out where that's happening. One of these is being assigned. It's counting the wrong shit. It's counting the same list, but it needs to count it differently. Current. Okay, so this is this thing. Man, this is really complicated. It's not actually that complicated, but just it's how I wrote it is. And I don't know if there's a way to do it. Okay, so that has nothing to do with these things. What we're at is, what is this? Here's our H box. Okay, so this is the available storage, and then we have the max, and then we have the current. Okay, so this, and then we have this separator. What the fuck is that? I guess there's something there. Okay. And this is what this is. Current perishable available label. Current perishable available, which is this first number. The second number is this one. And that number is the max perishable available label. Yep. Okay. So these are the two things we're counting. This is always going to equal the county's perishable storage. This is always going to equal, which currently is 5,000 a piece because it's unedited yet. But when we build the warehouse, that number is going to, or when somebody works at the warehouse, that number is going to change, which is why we have to fix this crap. Okay. So the idea behind this is it goes through all of the storage. It starts at 0. If this equals this perishable thing we're passing through, which is true versus false. So it goes through the whole list, which is just resources now. It's checking the perishable storage, which should, they're both 5,000, but they could change. And if, oh, I see. Wait, this doesn't work? So let's just look at the first one. If perishable equals true, for each resource in this, if it equals true, the storage plus equals the max amount of the the resource data. So we haven't messed with the max amount yet, which I feel like we should have already done at this point, though. I just want to make sure our resources are set up correctly, because that could be the first step of problems here. Perishable. Yes. No. Vegetables. Okay. That looks right. This other number we can't see because it's the max amount here. Resource data max amount. Where are we setting this max amount, though? It should happen earlier than this. It should happen... Let me look at this resource data real quick. We don't need this guy. We don't need this. We don't need this. Hopefully we won't need that. We don't need this. County generation, we might actually need that. Updating initial county storage. So this sets that thing, so yeah, that's fine. We might need to come back to that. Where's my resource data? I guess I don't have it open. We're done with this all resources, I hope. Yeah, there's no, I don't know if you asked that ages ago, but yeah, there's no difference right now. But when the storage starts happening, we'll have to be adding to, so that's why there's two, there has to be, for that one, there has to be two different variables for the future. So like if you get refrigeration or something, what the fuck am I looking for here? We want resource data, resource data, RS, resource data. All right, this is actually a pretty useful. Surprised I wrote that in there. We don't have a description in here for it even new. We need a description of everything. Might as well throw that in. So where the fuck is it setting this max amount though? Because it's just a private, we need to find where probably we'll want to look. I bet you this was set up somewhere and I got rid of it. Because so this is the part where we need that other thing. You know what we also, I think I have this set to, is that capital? Match whole word. Set resource value max amount. Okay, so this is somewhat, where would we do this though? On visibility change. Oh, when we close the H box. No, I don't think, I think it's just in, it's buried in here somewhere. So when we close the H box, we're setting the resource max values. Wonder why when we close it. Okay, so I mean, this makes sense, but how do we get them originally? Like the max values need to be set already when we open it. So maybe, so this is just going through each thing. Would that even be in the right order now? This isn't gonna work either. I don't think this is going to come out in the right order because it is putting them, well, how do we create this dictionary? I'm going to save this like mid-sentence here. That is under, I saw it earlier today, global suppressions. Where was that? Where we were creating this? Is it just on the first run? Generate storage HBoxes, it is. It's right here. It's right in front of my face. Oh, you know, so the dictionary, it doesn't matter. The dictionary should be the same order because it's just going through each resource and adding it. And then this just puts it in a different spot. Okay. All right, this is fine. I'm going to put a little note in here though. I think the dictionary is in the same order as the resources. Because if they're in a different order, then the things are going to get assigned incorrectly. But so the thing is that this is only happening when you close the. I mean, it needs to happen, but how we need to set the spin box value here is the update spin box max value. Where does this happen? Update spin box max value. Storage H box. So every storage H box has this thing in here. Update county available storage. This is kind of convoluted. So but we need that to happen every time you change the thing. So every time you touch the button, it does that. Update county available storage. All right, so this is definitely going to probably be one of the problems. Update county storage. Where are we dividing this? Like one of these is going to say like a count or something. Like it's going to be a count of the list and it's wrong. Because total used perishable storage. My God, I've already done this for 52 minutes. I totally knew this was going to be a mess to try to fix. That's why I originally made it 2 lists, but that is a problem. Okay, so we go through each. So update county available storage. We go through, and this happens all the time. This isn't a one run thing. If the thing's perishable, the total used perishable storage is taking the spin box and it's adding it to this perishable storage. If it's not, it's taking it and it's putting it in the non-perishable. And total available perishable, total available. Well, here's a bug right here. Total used non-perishable. Could this be part of our issue right here? Is these little things? And then it puts this string in here. Close this thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's been annoying me forever, and it's actually so I think I worry about like the amount of data that it's counting too much. Because in current computers, you know, they can count really fast, and counting 5 things, even if I have 100 of these, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. So this is right now. This is counting this correctly. So that was a bug. I'm just curious if I go all the way up. I guess I could type it in here. And I can't go above that. And I can't go up anymore there. So this works now, but the problem is I don't think we want to start with 1,000 in each. the idea is to start with them maxed out at 2,500 for these, and then some terrible number here. And I think that's so. And now it's working again. I wonder where I was setting. I remember I was so I was using the list, and because I had two different lists, and I would say how many is on the list, and then take the total of 5,000 and the amount of the how many things on the list, and just divide it. And now it's just equaling 1,000 because I think it's counting the whole list. So I guess I could go. I wonder if I called it resource data. I bet you I did like resources.counts. Here it is right here. Update each H box with resources. Yeah, this is once again. I think someone in chat said like, why don't you make an equals thing so that this isn't so ugly? And I was just like, I'll do that later. And I guess we'll do that later. So this is not what we're doing. Perishable, we're going to go with that number that I just globals instance. Whoops. Nope. Did I call it starting? No, it's just number of something. It's something like that. Number of perishable resources. We no longer count this. It counts itself later, right at the beginning of the game. Number of non-perishable. And then, let's see here. I was reading a Reddit comment about, there's a Reddit thread about indie developers complaining about how no one buys their games, and that didn't work. And did I save this? I did. And then they were saying that like how a lot of video games, indie video games, were bad, and I kind of agree. There's like a lot of video games, you know. Yeah, they're just just like yeah, there's a lot of video games, and how like, and this is people complain about this all the time, like the ease of access to create a video game, or to create anything makes it so that it's flooded with junk, with crap, you know, like, so the same with like, as you know, music got easier to make, it's flooded with shit, and then you gotta like pick through it all. But there's a bunch of people that were talking about it in this Reddit thread that like, you can kind of see that making a video game is art though, and so there's a lot of people who are in it for the money, and then they don't make any money because it's more of an art form, and you can see the artists and like the games that are made by artists, you know, and that was an interesting distinction because it's, you know, true. Because like, sometimes a game isn't that great, but you can see that you're like, this is art. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're running this up here. Update each HBox with resources. This is not what I was talking about, but it was wrong, whatever it was. Okay, update each HBox with resources. Maybe it wasn't wrong and I just like jacked it all up. I didn't notice anything busted over here. You know, it's interesting too, like my parents, back to my parents. I don't think, my mom's playing Stardew Valley now, but I don't think she understands the amount of work that goes into video games, and also um, like like a movie is considered a higher art form. But think about it, like with a movie, I love movies, so I'm not like shitting on movies here. But with movies, it's set. You know, with games, you got to also take into account a player that's gonna fuck your game up. What are we counting down here? Why are we counting this? And why is it telling me that we're not doing anything with this? Are we returning this thing? No. Why hasn't it like complained? Weird. I must have been doing that from the old way. Let's just get rid of this. Whoops. I don't know what I hit. Control D. Okay, so what are we doing in this thing? Update each H box with resource. So this is, we are, where is this running? Update resource labels. Where are you running update resource labels? Oh, I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay, so that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever hovered over one of those and seen that little thing. Um, so on visibility change, it's updating the resource labels. And the update each HBox with the resource. Except, didn't we set this when we close their the max value is saved? I wonder if this is busted. Oh, I don't have this saved. I changed something here. Let's stop this and restart. Then I'm gonna take a quick break here. There's a famous concept in I don't know if it's famous. There's a well-known concept. Okay, one guy knows about this concept. Basically, when you talk to someone about video games, you bring up like the door question is like when a programmer programs a door, it should be easy. You just go through the door, right? Except that can the door be open and closed? Can it be the Joker? How's it going? Can it be ajar? Can it be locked? Um, can you get through it all? Like, what is its graphic? Does the graphic have to change if it's open, if it's closed, if it's locked? And so, like, everything like that's like considered like one of the you have to think through all of these different things and whatever. Um, I'm gonna change one of these because I have a feeling that these are getting reset. Okay, I was wrong. My feelings were wrong. I know that this is somewhere is getting divided by the count. I changed that one thing. I know that's what's happening somewhere. Set initial max storage. Here it is. Dots. Number of perishable. Number of non-perishable. I wonder if I messed up that other part. Just make it a rigid body, lock the side so it's like a hinge, and headbutt it till it opens. Oh wait, yeah, can you break the door? Or you just do the locked door syndrome, where all the doors are locked and you can't go into any buildings. So this is how it's supposed to be. I thought this was going to implode because I have 3 of them. I don't know how it did it this way and it works. Yeah, it is even to this day when I run into the locked door syndrome, it kind of makes me laugh because I remember 20 years ago people were like, in 5 years you'll be able to go into every building and every game, and that's not true. I'm fine with how this works. Let's make that like that, and then let's like close that and open it. All right, I think this is actually fixed. I don't want to click around and find out it's not fixed. So, can we go above this? No. Which is what we want. Let's go back to here. Didn't I change this one? I think I changed that one. This one I remembered. That one it's remembering. This one it's not. I wonder why it doesn't like this one. This must be getting like the initial storage must be getting set somewhere. It's fine with that one because we have extra maybe. Yeah, it keeps resetting this one back. We're close though. That one's 150. Yeah, it must be it's setting something because of the weird math. But all right, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me throw up my break timer. All right, I'll be right back. Man. Oh, my cat was looking at me. He was looking at me like he wanted. He always wants something. But nope, he just wanted to clean himself. I had another thought about this. What happens if we put just like this to 50 and then we go away and come back? I guess we could probably. Huh. That didn't do what I thought it was going to do. It seems to be. Wait, now that one was different. I think there's some math going wrong in here. Wait, was this at 100? It's at 200. 150. 200. All right, I gotta start my music because it's like this. I can hear like the hum of the headset, and it's awful. Um, so if we go back to 650, no, 700 here, does it reset it? Is it because I'm going between them? Now it's fine with it. My music didn't start when I hit start. Oh, it's because it's just like I know you guys can't hear it. Whoops, I just skipped something. All right. Um, hmm. Well, the back to the door thing. It's so that you can go in every room. Go in every room and shoot up everything. Uh, I don't know. Like this is weird. It only happens sometimes. It seems to be. I wonder how often it runs that set initial thing. It should only run it once. It's got to be the math. It gets confused. See, it remembered that time. That one's fine. Here, it set it back here. I wonder where it's doing. Toot. Compromat. I think that is, and I've brought that up before, and I'm like, I can't remember the word. I think it is. Um, I brought it up in my other stream too because I was talking about it. That is the compromat. I'm gonna look it up, but I think that's it. Um, yeah, compromat. There's a movie. Um, damaging information about a politician, a business person, or other public figure, which may be used to create negative publicity as well as blackmail. Yes, this is the word. In the early days, Compromat featured doctored photos, planted drugs, grainy videos of liaisons with prostitutes hired by the KGB in a wide range. Um, I know that was great. Thank you. I've been trying to remember that word forever. Uh, there was some. I'm trying to remember who this guy was. Oh, it's. There's no way I'm gonna remember this story. There was like some Stalin tried to use some compromat on some guy, and he with prostitutes, and he like went ape shit. That's the knowledge of this story that I was trying to that popped in my head. Um, it was a long time ago. It's it was Stalin times, so yeah, that's the word. That's funny. Thank you. Uh, I think I must be setting this initial thing somewhere more often than I think. Copy and assign resources. Okay, I'm not. What about copy and assign resources? Update resources. Assign a copy of each resource to each county. Um, update resources. This is on county generation, so this should only be running once. It's got to be the math, like because it's coming out to um, a number with a remainder. And when I said when I was setting this up, I was like, the minute we get an odd number and add a third thing in here, it's gonna blow everything up. And so it's got to be like one of these things, but I wonder why it only happens occasionally. And what we should do about it, like maybe we should just not care. I mean, I do care. And it remembers it, it's fine there until I go back. No, now it's fine there. Am I in the wrong one? Yeah, it's when I open up one over here. So I open, okay, wait. I have an idea. What happens if it has nothing to do with this? It has more to do with the first time I open another. I'm over here. This thing's resetting something. Okay, no, it's not that. It's got to be this odd number-ness. Did it just do it again? I think it just did it again. So it's whenever it's on. So I go to there. Yeah, it just sets it back. Because it's an odd number, it's there's a remainder of 0.333 or whatever. What happens if I just reopen this resource? So it's not, it has something to do. I'm not going to open that resource. It has something to do when I open this resource. It resets this one, but not all the time. Let's wait. Let's go back to 700. And then go back to here and set this one to 700. Then go back to here. So it's fine with that. It's only when this thing is open and set at 1650 does it mess with this other one. Yeah, it set it back here. So how the fuck am I going to figure that out? So on visibility change, it assigns the resources to the storage box. So that should be okay. Update max amount labels. Maybe it's in here. So this is the counting thing. Storage. So this goes through and adds all of them together. All of the resource data. So it could be around here somewhere. It goes through and adds all of the resources max amount, which we set earlier somewhere. And then it subtracts them from the max storage and it shows the available storage. That's at the top. So what do we do after that? We update the resource labels. And this is that thing where I just like, oh, this was wrong because it had count in it. County name. Update each H box with a resource. This is updating the spin box. And we're dividing this, why? Equals, how often am I'm just using this twice. It'd be nice to see this whole thing in one without having to slide this back and forth. I know I have this bigger so that chat can, so you guys in chat can see it, but So what is it actually doing here? Maybe we can make this, maybe we can simplify this. The resource storage HBox dictionary is assigning the same key. Oh, so the order wouldn't have mattered because we had the key. Okay, so that takes that worry out of my brain. Update each type of resource. And there they are. We don't need to see that shit. Resource label. Okay, so this sets the amount, which is currently 0 for all of them. But we can turn on that story event. Spin box. If it's perishable, we don't need this though. This doesn't need to be like this anymore because we already set the initial amount, and the initial amount is all we care about. Once the player messes with it, it's gonna we're gonna be saving it elsewhere. So we don't need this thing. This doesn't need to be this way. This was probably an issue even before I changed the lists, and I just probably didn't notice that it only happened every once in a while. So the spin box, if it's perishable, we're doing this and we're dividing this by this number. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do any, we don't need to, I hope. What are we doing down here? I don't think we need this thing at all. I think we can just go like this. What is this thing down here at the bottom? This was back when there was the 2 lists. I don't know. Did I save that shit? Let's just see. Let's just see if we don't. I don't think we need that anymore. Because we already assigned all of their max stuff, and they got to assign an initial and county generation. It goes through every county and assigns them the max thing. Well, okay, we do need that. Look at this. Available too. Update each HBox with a resource. So resource amount. Resource HBox perishable. Resource amount, max amount spin box value. Maybe I'm not looking at the spin box right. Where's my spin box? It's down here. No, it's not. It's over here. The max value is 100. That's what its default is. And that's what it's setting. Did we get a bug when that happened? No. We did get some weird thing that said, why didn't you update? That has nothing to do with what we're doing right now, though. This is in the resource panel container. Update each box with, so this is in the, I'm just double checking here. Update resource label. Let's jump down to that. Update each HBox with resource, which is where we're at. So what is it? This thing's weird. Divided by, we should already know this value though. And that's what this is doing down here. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's setting the value. Is that what it's doing? No. Max amount spin box, max value. This should be max value down here. And then I don't think we need this. It was setting the other thing. Did I save that? So the paragraph is setting the standard value to the, it should be setting it. So we've already set, like when we run the game, it sets at all of the county's max values somewhere, and it should already be getting set. Like we shouldn't have to be doing this division thing unless I'm in the wrong spot. Max amount spin box, max value equals max amount. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Resource storage dictionary, resource data. Is this resource data not assigned yet? I would think you would get a bug generate. Those are just the creation. Um, that there you go. I pronounced it right. Assign resources to storage box. Resource data equals the value. It's this thing. I know it's somewhere in here. I just don't know why we were equals perishable storage divided by max amount spin box. Max amount, that's what this is, right? Um, I want to go to this. There's like a hotkey. I don't know what it is. Here it is. So this is the one that had like the count in it too. There was two of them. Let's put this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this shit. I don't know why it's there. I mean, I think it's just wrong. Whoops. We're going to figure this out. So it's going to the max amount spin box, which is what we're calling these, where's my storage H box here? Max amount spin box is the only spin box we have, so update max value. Okay, that's something else, but how are we doing this? This should be the plus the current non-perishable available. This also has a if perishable thing in it. From back when there were two lists. That's the word we want. I can't believe I couldn't remember that word because it's like compromat. It's like compromising. It's like got the compromise word. Jeez, my brain. I couldn't remember the word pitchfork one day. I was running a D&D game, and I was like, it's got 3 things, sometimes 4 things. And everyone's like, it's a trident. I'm like, no. Update each H box with a with resources. So we pick the resource data. Farmer Forks, yeah. There was a picture of it on the screen too when I was trying to tell them what it was. Um, like a little, they were looking at a map. So now I'm wondering, like, I think we can make this even smaller. Let's move this up a little bit here. We can go up here. Update each H box. Oh wait, no, we can't. Because this needs to go where it's update resource labels. I do want this to be okay, back where it was, I guess. So it's assigning this stuff. It sends in this list. There's a dictionary. It goes through each dictionary, each one of these, and it's assigning it. I thought we already assigned this, though. I think actually... Where is this being called? Update spinbox max value. I think we're doing the same thing in two different spots, unless I'm misunderstanding what this does. Update each HBox with resources. And this was just going to value. That's how this was set. That was set to just go to value. Max amount spinbox value. Is that, maybe I don't. What is value? We have max value, and then we have value. It's at 0. Okay, value's down here. What was this at, 100? Or 0 and 100? So this is the value that it's being set. Max value is different than value. Yes, max value is different than value. Jesus Christ, why is this so annoying? Update county available storage. This also has this. Oh no, this one needs to have it. This one needs the. This one needs to keep the count, the perishable versus non-perishable. And the thing that can I look at this? What is this thing? Resource. What did that big if then thing that I just deleted? What was it doing that was so... If it's a perishable one... This just doesn't seem right to me. Like, it shouldn't... I'm surprised it wasn't broken all the time. Alright, I guess what we should do is just rewrite the part. Just like go from scratch and like figure out what the fuck. And then we'll go through these messages, hopefully, because there's 16 of them. update spin box value, max value. Then we have update max value, which is this other thing. This is also an if thing. We don't have any errors. Did you see that? Like, that video is good that you posted on my Discord. The thing that was strange is he had like 400 bugs. Um, so this thing is going through, if it's perishable. Okay, this does need to have the two different things because it's pulling it current perishable available dot text. I'm curious what they were too because it was running fine, you know. So this goes through each one of these. It makes the spin box max value. Um, Current perishable available. This one needs to differentiate between the two, between perishable and non-perishable. Differentiate. I think you can spell check this, but every time I click the spell check button, the world, oh, I spelled it right. Um, Max amount, is there anything else that's unsaved? We're passing in the resources here, which is this county's resources. Maybe I should break this into smaller pieces to make it easier to understand. So that each little thing does its own little thing. And then so that it's not like this one adds to this one, to this one, to this one, to this one. So this should have already been set. The initial thing should have already been set, and it's defaulting to 100 because that's what this is. This is just 100. We could put whatever 99 in here, and then run this, and they should all be at 99, I think. Yeah, so this isn't getting set right. And this is the max value, and we were setting the value. But we need to set the max value. But if we set the max value, that's not going to change the value of it. We can set the max value. Yeah, exactly. I think I got to change both. Update each H box with the resource. So we have the max value. Let's look at one of these. I think we got, and that's probably what that if then was doing, is it was setting the value in it, but it was dividing it. we can just go to here, and then we can go to here, and we can just look at any of these. I mean, a fish. We need to be here. Yeah, the max value is already set, but the value is set to 100. Okay. So the max value then must have been getting set with that division, the if-then thing. So if we do this, but what is it different? Is the value going to be different? Then, now we got to do it in the other order though. Max value has to be set first. So we set the max value. This is every time we open this, I believe. Update resource labels. Oh, I think I see what I was doing. I see, I did need that if then. Okay, it's now it's making sense. This needs to be value. We were setting the max value. Well, we actually can do it right here. And it does need to differentiate between the two because you can have different perishable amounts. So that was set right. And now we can just compare this and copy it over here. Copy it back. I don't know if you can revert like sections. I've never tried to do it. Can I copy this? Okay, we're gonna make a better comment on here too, so that this makes more sense. This was here. This is still not quite right though. This can go away because this is what I was adding in, I think. This can go away. Now we're back to where we were. Where did I set this? I don't think this is actually right. Like this is, well, this is wrong. This is definitely wrong. This is globals instance, number of perishable globals instance, number of non-perishables. Redo this thing. I think I saved it. But I think that there's something else going on here. Because we might have to put a new thing in. So I think that, so it's, I'm surprised this isn't resetting it every time, basically, is what I'm surprised about. But I guess it's, when I say every time, I guess it is resetting this sometimes, but not every time. How often does it? Yeah, so there is something wrong with this. It's just not, there's something else. So let's look at our resource data again here. We have a max amount and we have an amount. So the max amount is set so that write a getter setter for amount never being above. This is, I did this. This is right here. Amount equals the max of that. And the minimum is the amount. Amount equals. Shouldn't this be 0? That getter setter looks wrong to me. Shouldn't the amount be 0? Exactly. This is the amount of resource. This is the max amount that can be stored. So back to this thing where this is so what update each age box, like I'm going in circles here. Update resource. This is gonna go to on visibility change. It's gonna go through here, and it's gonna do this divisible thing. But shouldn't this max amount already be set in this thing? I feel like we already did that. Count storage amounts. This is set for when we close it. I think that was under initial whatever. Max amount should be set under initial. It was under like county generation or something. Right here. Is this actually happening? Cowlitz has 500 perishable storage. Yeah. Okay, so look, it's doing the math. This isn't coming through. Here, look, this is 1666. That's what it should have. This is what I was expecting, and then I got that 650, and I was like, eh. We can make a constant of 0 for the minimum amount. In that one thing, I feel like it should be 0, but I'm gonna fuck with that later. Okay, set this initial thing. This goes through, so there's something wrong with this too. So the resources they're setting the max amount is not actually happening. I mean, it might be, it's happening here, but where the fuck is this thing? Is this setting the right? This isn't setting those because, well, we're resetting them. That's the problem is, but then well, why is this one coming out without the 1666? Perishable storage. We set the initial amount. Let's think about this. We set the initial amount at the beginning. And then it's getting, why are we setting the initial amount? We're setting the initial amount so that the first time you run it, no one's starting with resources. You could start with resources. So on county generation, why are we running this? Copy and assign resources. Did this do it to all of them? It did. And it's doing it right. So at this point, all of the, well, can we look at one? I don't think we can look at one. I think it's going to tell me to go fuck myself. Yeah, it doesn't show. I think someone in chat, I think Wind in chat was saying you got to make a constructor to be able to see the stuff in there. Because this should be already set at this point. So there's something more going. There is more of an issue than I thought. But why are we setting the initial storage for each thing? I guess we have to. I'm going to put a note in here. But why isn't it coming over? On visibility change. For each. I need one of these weird dictionary things. One of these weird for each dictionary things. Here we go. For each resource in county data, do we have the count? No, not a capital one. Oh, I'm getting it in a weird way. Then there's actually a better way to do this now that I think about it. A private county or private county data. We do that, and then on visibility, that way we can just have it for everything. County data equals global. God damn it, globals instance. Left clicked, selected, left click county data. All right. Now we don't need to have all those. I was putting this throughout the whole goddamn thing. But if we have it on visibility, it turns visible. We could just go county data. Hopefully it's fast enough. Dot resources. And then we go over here. We go resource data. And then we go for each one of these GD print key value pair. Fuck you. I was talking to myself. Key value pair dot max. Well, I guess we could do name. Sorry, value dot name, and then we could do a colon key value pair. We're gonna get like a million of these. No, we'll only get a little bit. Then we'll do max amount, because now I'm curious if it's even getting this far, basically. And then we'll run this thing. And I just want to see if this number is correct. It's going to change like immediately, but if this is the 1666, the 666 number, we want 666. I didn't open it. Okay, so this number is the correct. It's getting there. It's so the county and the resource has the right stuff at this point. It's been assigned. The initial storage has been signed, but somehow we're messing that up, and I think it's this other thing. See, because this is not right. It should be 1666. Except, wait, is there some setting in this max thing that it has to be groups of 50? Um, let's put that back to 100. That's the problem, is this step thing. So how do I can change this to 1. I just wanted it to be easier for the player. That's the problem, right? The player. The player's the problem. If I could just make a game where no one plays it, we'd be set. But now these little buttons are 1s. And I bet you... No, it set it back. It didn't that time. It didn't that time. What was my test before? I had to open this one up. What? I just need bots to play. I need to write a bot that plays it so that the way I want them to play it. Now I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I think what happened was now they're not getting the resources assigned. Oh, could that be the problem this whole time, is that the resources aren't getting assigned correctly? And then when I was switching back and forth, the reason why it was switching back and forth is because I was actually editing other resources. All right, so we got the 666 here. We got 666 here. Right, you know, so the old boss for my company contacted me and was like, I'm under attack from Latin America. And I was like, how do you know that there's people in Latin America attacking you? And so then he sent me a screenshot of like his account, you know, has one of the security, his email account has one of those security, see when you last logged in. And it was like all over the world, but the most recent ones happened to have been Latin America, were attempting to get into his account. And so then, but it was just bots. It's just bots. And so I had to explain to him that it's like not really a person. They're not like, there's not a person. I mean, there's a person way, way, way back and behind it, but it's just bots these days. The whole internet's just bots. I had to explain him the dead internet theory. Like, this shit's dead. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'm on Portland. I'm going to change this. I can't change that above. There we go. Maybe I just wasn't clicking on it. These little things kind of suck. Then I'm going to go to Wasco, and it's still there. Go back to Portland. It's reset itself, but it also says 0. Now it's set itself. All right, so let's go through each step, because there's something that's just like slightly off. We'll leave it at 1. We'll leave it at 1 thing here. We have this test that we can just get, where this is just for testing. This is just for testing. On visibility change, what's the first thing we want to do? We want to assign the resource to the H box. So we go through, just get that out of there. We go through, we don't need this selected left click county. We don't need that anymore. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's make sure that these, well, all right, that's just so ugly. The county data is the selected left click county. That's what we need. It's happening on visible. So the minute it's turned on, we're assigning these resources from the county. This assigns the county's resource to the storage HBox when it becomes visible. This is the storage dictionary. It's getting the value from our county resources. That's perfect. What's next? Next is we update the max amount labels. This updates top max amount labels, not the spin box max amounts. We don't need this anymore. This can go away. County data is blue. It shouldn't be blue. The max amount, max available amount labels. Update max amount labels. Max available storage amount labels. Count available storage amounts. This is the current perishable available label, which is this thing in this thing. It takes the county resources. We don't need to pass this in anymore. We don't need this. Because we already know, we're just setting that at the beginning of the thing. We're just setting this now. You don't know what that is? Why don't you know what that is? For resource data in county data. Oh, because you're static. Because you're dumb and static. Okay, so it's going to count this resource it's passing in. This we do need to pass in, and it's going to go through. It's going to be either zero storage if it's perishable, or if it equals this perishable amount. It counts up to the storage. Count available storage amounts, resource max amounts. Okay, so it's counting all of the resources, like the 1666. It's counting all those up, and then it subtracts that from the max storage. Where are we getting this max storage button? Okay, and this is the county perishable storage. This makes sense. And then it returns the available storage, which is being set here. That's why we're getting like these 2s and whatever. That's how it's getting that. Perfectly fine. Updates. So what is this thing? It goes through every resource and counts how much storage is assigned to them, because that's the whole point of this, is we're assigning storage so that you can be like, I want to have more canned goods than remnants. Okay, so that's that's fine, and this is less painful. And then what do we do? Then we update the resource labels. These are update each HBox with their label. Let's change this. Updates county label. Why would this be here in its own, like this? I mean, I sound so upset about it. Why the fuck is this here? It just doesn't need to be. Like this. Let's cut this and put it. You know what? No, it has to be there. Let's put this here, and this is just going to be this now. And then let's get rid of this other method, because it's just like it's a method that's pointing to another method. Let's cut that. Let's put you up here. Let's get rid of you, because you're gonna get deleted in 2 seconds. You're gonna go back down to here. It just wasn't necessary to have that extra step in there. And if we want, we could change this to a method wherever I just put this thing. We could change this to a method at some point. We could also, you know, what we could do is we could create a thing that interacts with all of the different labels, whatever they're called, a public class, and we could just use this public class to update this. But whatever, we'll do that. So then we don't need this anymore. It passes in the county data. We don't really need it to do that, actually, because we know the county data. Go down here. Get out of here. This is going to be county data. All right, so now it's this update each HBox with the resources, which is the thing we messed with the most, and I still think this is where the problem is. So we haven't gotten to that point yet. So we need to update. Update each HBox with resource. I really should be using the control click to get to here. I was going to say the resource doesn't know its name. So this is my theory, is that there's something going wrong with where it's being assigned. Oh, we can get rid of this. Like, it's pulling the wrong county's shit. My new theory for this issue. And we can get rid of this shit too. But we just changed all that. So let's see, you left click. It has to be. Do I still have those 2 different left click things? Because we'll get rid of that. Selected left click county. I think I got rid of it already. I know I was going to. Right click, selected county population, selected left click county. And the only way you can get to that is if you click on something. The only way you can get to the resource panel is if you have clicked on something. So that should see, I think something's weird here. I can't go up here. It's like I have to go down first. Oh, I can't go up because it's already set the max amount as 1666. So there's a problem with that. The max amount actually should be 16. So that happens in initial. So Jesus Christ. Maybe we don't want the initial thing. No, I guess we have. Hmm. That's still. And this is set back. Probably, it's not changing is the max amount. We're assigning. Okay, this is a pain in my ass. Probably what's happening is when I go to here, like this is getting assigned, the max amount's getting assigned for the spin box, and then we go over here, and the max amount for the spin box hasn't been changed, so it doesn't it kicks it back to 1666, and then but it doesn't know to count this again. So we gotta like fix how the order is. Uh, we originally set that original thing where we went through, but it's actually not right. The max amount, we need to add the remainder in there. I knew this remainder was going to screw me. I knew it. I knew this remainder was going to screw me. Uh, so the max amount, motherfucker. Hmm. I'm having different thoughts. All right, let me take a quick break and I'll think about this and I'll read my messages. Somebody's messaging me over here. Not on Discord, but on um, elsewhere. Let me turn off my music here, which I've done. Music you guys can hear. And let me put up my break timer. I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. Okay. I think all we need to do is add that remainder in. Well, I shouldn't get my hopes up. But I think the remainder is the issue. So on the initial, when we set the initial value, and we do need to set the initial value, and then after we change it, it gets updated each time, I think. So what are we doing here? We're dividing this, and somehow we need to get, we're going to need some chat GPT because I can't remember how to get the remainder. Let me move this over here. Did I turn off my break timer? I did. And I need to say, how do I add the remainder to the end of this? And remainder? Is that what it is? You can use the modulo operator. All right, so let's copy this. I guess I could have just clicked that copy button. I don't know, man. And what we're gonna do, paste this right there. Take that back. Nope, that's the right spot. And then we're gonna paste this right here. And then we're gonna go non-perishable, 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 and then number of non-perishable. I wonder if we're gonna have to do this in that other place too. If we do, then we should make this a method and have it so we only have to update one thing instead of having to update 2 spots. Well, maybe we'll have the fucking banker do it or some shit. The banker, so then I want to go in here. This is the initial. No, this is the resource container. This is the wrong one. We want this in the initial first. Where was that? It's up here. If perishable. Here, I'll put this down here. And I'll put this here. Yeah, this was wrong. That was the wrong spot. So how are we doing this? Starting perishable storage instance, number of perishable resources. So we need this to be copied to here, and we go plus this percentage this. Seems like a weird way to have to do this, but and I guess we want to do this though. And then we're going to get rid of this. And we're going to go like this. Put this here. Move this here. And do non-perishable and non-perishable. And then this GD print's already here. Then we're going to go back and we're going to revert. We'll save this actually. Because I think we might need the remainder. I don't know. This is going to be a pain in my ass. And I said that I knew that this was going to, the minute, I should just make it so we only have even numbers of resources, right? Just make it, just add a perishable so we have 4 of them. And that would probably be the easiest solution. The fuck is that? Because it's running out, and because it ran out of. These ones are right though. This one's wrong. So let's go back on this. I'll just Control Z a bunch of times. Back until there we go. Yeah, yeah, and but we need that two. We need the two. Like fuck the one. It's not a one. It's a, it's a, it's a something. Um, okay, so this works so far, but once again, it's remembering the max value is getting remembered between counties. At some point, it's not always doing it. So we're not assigning this in the right spot or something. No, we are assigning it at the right spot. So there is that decimal point of 0.333 or whatever. But that part we don't care about. But the remainder of the two, because there's a remainder of 3 or whatever, right? Right? Yeah, there's a remainder of 2. I don't care about that one. We could, but it's going to just cause more issues down the road. The problem is the max thing isn't being updated in the right spot. It's this, so the having it 666 is fine with me, and then we have these extra 2, that's fine. But what the max thing wasn't set, so you see it's back to this problem where you can't. Well, this one has it, but this one doesn't. So that's a problem. They all need to have it. So when you can't click up is the problem. So right now, let's see if it will do it on this one. So before you couldn't add in these 2. So that's what I'm trying to fix, is the adding in these 2. So you can add in these 2 now. Before you couldn't, because well, see, now it shouldn't let you. And it works. So this is how it's supposed to work. But when I'm going, so the whole key was, let's do this again from scratch here. Without that remainder thing in there, because we don't care about the 1. Well, I guess we kind of do. We kind of care about the 1. We would have to round it. We could, I think the easiest solution, honestly, is always make it so that there's an even number of resources. So we don't ever have, non-perishable, we could easily add in something else with something else that's non-perishable. It's kind of a bummer. So we actually, I guess we do care about the 1, because this is, no, that's even to 5,000. Then we add 2 onto there. 16 times 3 plus 2 is 5,000, yeah. But what happens if it's like 5? No, 5 would work. What happens if it's 6? What happens if it's 7? Divided by 7. I think we're going to run into some other weirdness. 17 times 7. That would still work, but I bet you at some point this breaks again. And there's still definitely something wrong with when you go through these. That one's at 16. Yeah, see, these are remembering. Did I switch both of them, though? I can't remember. I think the easiest solution is to make sure we always have an even number of resources. But that's kind of a bummer for later. Actually, I want to do it on a different one. Let's do it on a middle one. Let's do it on the remnants. Like, let's say later we have our 100 resources and we know that's the exact number of resources. Let's do it on the middle one. And then I'm in Portland. Yeah, see, it's remembering the max. So somewhere we're not updating the max thing in the right spot. Update spin box max value here needs to be somewhere else. Where is this getting called? This is on the store. Oh, is it when it gets instantiated? No, it's only on the value change. Well, it's not that it's not like there's not a solution to it. It's just that it's a pain in the ass. And that's what the remainder thing is. And then trying to remember like I knew it was going to be a pain in the ass. So the update spin box max value here. So let's go back to where I was at because we need to go through. There's a spot that's missing. So we assign the resources to the storage box on the visibility change. So this is definitely the whoops. This is definitely the visibility is changing. So this should be changing. But it's thinking these are there. So there's something strange going on because it fixes itself later. If we do this, like if we go down, let's say 1,000 in here. Whoops, 100. It's fine. When we go over here, it doesn't. Yeah, it's only doing it. No, I don't want to have any decimals. No, I'm not doing any decimals. Fuck that. I don't want to have any decimals in the game at all. This is something that I've noticed with like Paradox games is a lot of times they have decimals that are hidden that you can't see, and you like have to hover. You have to do a tooltip to get the decimals, and it's very strange. Actually, like other game, Kingdoms also has a similar thing. The Fields of Glory Kingdoms that I streamed the other night, I noticed that it has a. You'll be like, why is this a +0 or a -0? It's because it has like some crazy decimal that's hidden. Okay, so the real problem is that one of these is not good. So assign resources to storage. But it's happening. Okay, so here's what's happening. It's assigning this resources to storage. But once again, we're not updating the max. Update max available storage amounts. We should be. After this, where is it pulling this from? It should count all of these. Yeah. should just go through and count all of these. For each resource data in the county resources values, for each, oh, because this is a dictionary. If it's perishable equals this, it should count all this stuff up. And then what happens? It returns it, and that's just setting the label though. We haven't at this point set the max. All we've done is set the, at this point, all we've done is set the the label. We haven't actually set the max thing. Now this sets the max thing. And it's going through each H box. It assigns the resource to the resource data here. So this is where it's assigning the resource data. And it should be once again, this is the weird part. We're back to this weird thing that we were at like an hour and a half ago. It's setting the max value by dividing the number of perishable resources. Counting, it's the perishable resources by the number of perishable resources, which is what we counted. We're dividing this so we can add in the remainder. But that's not, see, the problem isn't that. There's something weird going on with, so we have this 1668 and it comes across. And it only happens at the beginning. So what am I, I'm in Portland. See, it comes across. And so this, max amount spin box, and this is happening on visibility change. I guess I didn't need to scroll all the way up there. I could have just hovered over this thing. So the storage H box's value is equal to the max amount. We just changed the max amount on the other one. This one's, but it should be set to the, well, this one is, it is coming out right. It has, so that's the problem though. So that's why I was adding like a 7 or whatever. What's 5,000 divided by 9? That one actually might give us, yeah. So like this is the thing, is if you go like 5 times 9, what are we at? We're at 5. We'll add the remainder of 5 on there. So it should work just adding that. We're not talking about the decimal remainder. We're talking about like the whatever's left over. So it should be okay because there are just going to be 5 extra empty spots. So this is doing, max value, the spin box makes it so much more difficult. Uh, I know it's something in here. I just can't quite figure out. So this is we're setting the resources value in the max amount. We're just dividing it though. This should be updating. I feel like this should be updating the wrong. County data, non-perishable storage, divided by the number of things. So this should be 1666. But it's putting the value. This should be wrong. Is what it should be. Um, and do we need to check this every time? So we do the initial count, which we have the right amount for the initial thing, and then we have to do this every time. Update each I think we have to do this also too when we're clicking on. No, we're doing it over here. Update max value. So then why do we have this other one? Where does this is here? What does this do? This updates every single one. This is updating every single one, but just in a different spot. What does this one do? Wrong one. Update max value. Oh, this is just updating the top part. Update max value. This is updating the value plus the current perishable available label. Well, I want the player to be able to adjust it. See, that's the problem. It's the player is the problem to what they want. If plus the current perishable available label. Current perishable available. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Let's put a note in how to explain what this is so I don't have to rethink it every time. This one needs to differ. All right, that's fine. Whoa, I don't need that. Go back. It needs to get the perishable, it needs to get the label amount so that the player can add more to the it needs to get to the. I don't think the math's the problem. The math is no longer the problem. The problem is that there's something that's not getting updated in the right spot. It needs to get to, the label amount so that the player can add more to the spin box. No need to be sorry. It needs to get the label amount so that the player can add more to the spin box. So this is what it's doing, is it's adding, like, so that's why you can add 2 in. It's doing this. It's doing that math. That's what this is. Update max, update spin box. Did I already have this somewhere? Spin box max value. You know what, though, with this should have already solved that remainder problem, actually. This thing should have, this should have taken care of that remainder thing. So what that means, like, this is fine. Once again, we're back to this thing. this, and we can fix this by using that other thing. I think update each with the resource. So we have this thing here. What is this? Do we pass in anything? But let me bring this down here. Update this thing. Let's bring this down here. This whole thing, though. So this thing, and this is every time you change the value. Yeah, every time you change the value, this is ran. But we also could run it here instead. We're passing in the storage H boxes. So what we would do, let's do this as a test, actually. I don't know if I can do this as a test. This is going to run through all of them. This is going to run through all of them. Update max spin box value. I don't know if this is going to work, but I think that might be a way to test this here. So if this thing updates each one, when you open up the thing, we can take out part of that, and we can so there's 2 things doing similar stuff, but not the right stuff. So this is the remainder part. This is why I was saying this is the math's working, because we're getting the 2 there. And this, when we change this, that spin box thing is taking this number and subtract. So it knows we only can go up to 1668 here. We can't go higher because it's 0. And so then when we go lower, it's adding this on here, and it's making it so that these can go higher. This one too should be able to go higher. It does. But now that's not what we were testing. And it's kind of weird that we have that one thing set. So this goes up to 1668. But then the problem is that when we go to a new place, it's still remembering the 1668, even with that update. Why? Why is it remembering that? Because that's not its... Unless it's going through every resource and assigning them. Exactly. It's carrying it over, and it shouldn't be. So my theory is that this max value it's remembering the max value from the other one, but it shouldn't be making the amount, the max value, except this is saying this one is making it the max value. So like this is, the value is making it the max value. of that resource. But if it's the resource, then that means that the resource is not assigned right, except we already looked and the resource was assigned right. Um, and so I was thinking if we put this in here, it would have updated all of them. But it didn't work. Wait, I have a new theory. No, that theory is wrong. um, this is from the county data. But then it's weird too because it starts working after you change more stuff. If you change like a bunch of stuff, then you go back over here, it remembers that. It's the right amount. If a meteor, Zlad, how's it going? If a meteor was heading towards Earth and you could take only one game with you on the space arc, which would you choose to save? All other games perish. That's a hard question. I'd probably pick a roguelike of some sort. Like, Red Dead Redemption is, I know it's not roguelike, is one of my favorite games, but I wouldn't want to play it all the time. I think I would pick a roguelike, but picking the roguelike would be quite difficult. Um, because you'd have to get one that continually that would you need a roguelike that continually updates. I don't know. What about you? What game would you take? That goes for everybody. So why does it fucking not work for this one part? Everything else works except for the initial setting. Hmm. It's the only game that would survive. Sly 3? What's Sly 3? Um, it's not free to play. It's the only game that will survive for the. So you're saying like we should pick something that shows that. Are we going to run into aliens of it? Do we think it's possible to run into aliens at some time? Because that would kind of change. Um, a Paradox game wouldn't be a bad choice. Can you mod the game, or is the game stuck in its form forever? Like like how they sent out that one spacecraft that had like records and stuff on it. Is it stuck in its current form and it cannot be updated? It goes with the colony. I probably still would take a roguelike of some sort. Paradox game is a good guess. What's that? What's the space paradox game? Since you're going to space. Oh man. Um, is Furries a video game? Stellaris, yeah. So you take Stellaris with you. Um, the other thing we could do is regenerate I have this happening at the beginning, but we could regenerate these every time you opened it. Um, that's like the desert island question, but it's much more difficult because your desert island, you know, it's just gonna be playing forever. I'm trying to think of like some masterpiece video game that we'd want to show aliens. The thing is that all of our video games, not all of them, but the vast majority are very violent. So I don't know how many, if we want to be showing off our video games to aliens, if the possibility is out there. Um, Update each HBox with resource. There's something silly going on. That's the problem with this. Is there's something silly. And I know it's one of these things where it's like when I find it, I'll be like, oh, this needs to be off or something. Because it works fine after you've messed with it, besides the initial clicking back and forth. Besides that, so it's only the first. I wonder if it works like if it's this way too. No, and it's only one direction. It's only when you max out one, and it might not even do it now. Yeah, it's only at the very beginning. Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't know there was a furry video game. I mean, I assumed there was furry video games, but I didn't. Yeah, see, it only happens. Maybe, but let's see if I fuck with another one. Is that math right? If I fuck with another one, it doesn't do it. It's just the first time you open a thing, you click, does it do it? Let's see. I gotta fix this in 7 minutes. 6 minutes. So Zlad, do you have an idea of a game that you would want for that? Does it do if I just do 7? I'm in Portland. It doesn't. It actually kicked it to the top. What happens if I don't change any? Maybe there's a different problem. And I thought it was me changing it, but maybe it kicks the one to the... The fuck is this? I didn't change any that time. This has 2. And now this has... This is the one I added in here. I feel like this might be part of that issue. Like it's adding it too many times because we changed that one thing. Like it's at a 2, so it's going through that because it wasn't there before. I just put it there because I thought it maybe. All right, so that's that. Oh, now we have a -4. But it only does it once again the first run. What is fucking that shit up? And I probably never tested it when it was set up the old way. I don't think this is related to this change. I think this was probably like this, but I never noticed that this was a problem. Like the remainder was a problem, but now the remainder is fixed, sort of. So what is it doing? I click this, we have the thing, I click resources, then it's going back through and it's adding these up, but it's adding them wrong now. Like I said, I knew this was going to be a mess. It's not that. This thing. It's this thing in here, and it's like I just need to like tear it out. So this is taking the, it's setting the max amount. Okay, so this does something. This is actually not doing as much as this is not doing this. I mean, it is doing that. It's doing like that, though. And I was curious if he had a game in mind and he was going to blow our minds. He was going to be like, the game you should take is Duke Nukem. No, I don't. I don't know. Something like that. And we were like, why Duke Nukem? And then we'd be like, because. Uh, is there a game that teaches you how to survive on a colony ship without murdering each other? Okay, let's see what this does. We don't care about this stuff. I mean, we do care about this stuff. But resource amount to string, resource amount label, resource name. So yeah, this stuff is just some other, we could ignore this for right now. All we got to look at is this thing. And I have a minute and 30 seconds. An MMO, Star Citizen. But if it's set in its if it's stuck in its current development stage, you wouldn't want to take Star Citizen anywhere. But then could you like, does its networking capability also come over? I was thinking like a standalone game, but like, do you get the whole? You don't just get a copy of the client. You get the whole server infrastructure, because that could, maybe you do want to do like bring a mud with you or something. So what are we doing here? This updates each HBox with this resource. We're putting the max thing. This is what's wrong. But I don't know. I'm not going to fix it today. This has to be the problem. This has to be the problem. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to push this crappy code. And maybe I'll work on this after I take a nap, and I'll figure it out, hopefully, so that I don't have to work on this tomorrow when I stream. Or we could just move on. It's not like the end of the world, and just put a note in that this needs to be fixed. Like I said, it's only the first time you do something. Worked on fixing available storage. Did not fix it. There we go. There's a lot of video games out there. Like, what's like because we were talking also about the most culturally artistic video game. It's from 3 years ago. Somebody said Journey. Is that the one where you just like just go and do all puzzles? Didn't that game suck? Heavy Rain. It's an interesting choice. Mirror's Edge, Portal. Portal's a Gravity Rush. I've never heard of that. Okami? Never heard of that. Spec Ops: The Line. Don't bring that one. Don't bring that one. Just don't. List of art games. The problem with like Spec Ops or Call of Duty or whatever is that like if you do run into aliens, you definitely don't want them to think that that's the thing you picked. You know what I mean? Because they would just blow you out as airlock. They'd be like, "Cool, well, sorry, you gotta go." Pong, Space Invaders. We could just ask. Well, let's ask Chat GPT and see what it says because that's a strange question. What video game would you take with you on a colony ship to another planet? You can only take one game, and all other games are destroyed in a nuclear holocaust. I don't think I spelled holocaust right. Oh, maybe I did. No, I want the name of a game. Oh, see, they're talking about modding too. Single player. They say Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition. A Skyrim flashed through my mind, but I was like, no. Because that's... Huh. The computer would take... The AI would take Skyrim. Okay, what is your second choice? The Minecraft. That's an interesting one. Minecraft actually might be a good option. I've never played Minecraft, and I'm not really interested in playing Minecraft. But you have a lot of people like make computers and shit out of Minecraft, like in the Minecraft world. Okay, that's actually not a bad choice. What is your third choice? Zelda Breath of the Wind. Huh. Yeah, I wonder where it's pulling all this. Like, what Reddit thread did it get this information from? Joker, what would you take with you? What if the game had to have been developed before the year 2001? Oh, it's just stuck on Zelda, man. Okay, no Zelda games. What if we had to show the video game to aliens? Where am I going? Probably Legend of Dragoon, which also fits. Well, I just threw the 2001 in there in the mix. But yeah, what if you had to take a game, and all other games are destroyed? You have to take it with you on a ship that is escaping Earth from an apocalypse, and it's not just for you to play, though. It was clarified that it's not just for you to play. It's also the only one that survives humanity. Super Mario 64 is if you had to show it to aliens. That it's not that violent. What if the aliens were Ferengi? Legend of I don't know that game, I don't think. If the aliens were Ferengi from the Star Trek universe, known for they would bring Sid Meier's Civilization 2. Economic. What about if the alien was the thing from The Thing? No way I can answer this question. You would just die. It would bring Resident Evil 2? Oh. Uh, Making a fitting choice to resonate with themes and atmospheres familiar to The Thing. So the thing's like about to absorb you, and it's like, hey man, check out Resident Evil 2. It might. You might be into it, man. Oh, ChatGPT. Um, okay. What about where does Legend of Dragoon fits in this apocalyptic scenario? It's gonna be like, it does not. Could fit intriguingly into the pot for several reasons. Epic narrative. I don't even know this game. Character development, turn-based combat, showing to aliens. If the game had to be shown to aliens, it would highlight several aspects of human culture and creativity. Fantasy and mythology, art and music, storytelling. No, it's remembering each thing that I asked. This is surprising. For the profit-driven Ferengi, while the Legend of Dragoon might not directly align with their values, it could still be an interesting choice. Quest for power and resource management. If The Thing was the audience, the focus would shift to how the game's themes align with the aliens' transformation and identity. Do you transform? The Dragoons transform? Resonate on a metaphorical level with the shape-shifting nature of The Thing. Survival and conflict, the constant battle and survival against overwhelming odds in the Legend of Dragoon parallel. The intense survival scenarios in The Thing. Well, I always assumed The Thing was from a place where there was lots of things, but they were all one thing, if you know what I mean. Team dynamic, it would probably like that because it's just like it's a thing. So it's pro this idea. What if the aliens were an intelligent shade of blue? So there's this theory that we've actually met aliens, but we couldn't recognize that they were aliens because they're so obscure, they're so bizarre, like an intelligent shade of blue, that we might have painted over them and killed them. It's saying journey. A unique and highly conceptual entity. The choice of game should ideally emphasize creative. What a strange. Thanks for the question, Zlad. That's an interesting thing to think about, and it's pretty funny what ChatGPT has learned from the internet. I can't believe Skyrim was its first choice. In this conversation and in a new conversation. Let's do a new. Where are my pants? Oh no, did you misplace them? Check your bedroom last retrace your steps. Could they be on my legs? Because my pants are on my legs. Check your legs. They might be right where you left them. Oh, thanks. They're right here. Oh, thanks. They are right here. Crisis of anything. All right. I'm calling it a day. I hope that'll... Look at... They made the Capitol wear my pants. Hopefully this... I might just, like, move on from this, because this is like a... I bet you it fixes itself on its own. It's got to be this thing, though. because this is doing that. But whatever. Did I push this shit? Created locally. Now I have pushed this shit. How do I know these are my pants? If they fit comfortably and are familiar to you, they're likely yours. Check for any personal. If you're still unsure, call where you last wore them or ask others. Ask others. Just walk up. Are these my pants? Some stranger. All right. That's it for me. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow.